Nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in divers places.
And yes, and we are witnessing all of these things happening this very day. And we are witnessing these things. You know, we're witnessing in any part of the world that you want to deal with. You know, if you want to deal over in Asia, you're witnessing these things happening over in there. Or if you want to look over in Europe, you're witnessing. And if you want to look here in the Americas, you are witnessing these things happening wherever you look. So, you know, these are worldwide signs that the Lord gave. And we are looking at these things this very day. Now, I want you to skip down to verse 15. Go ahead and read.
When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet stand in the holy place, whoso readeth, let him understand.
Now, this is only the man of sin moving in a temple that will be built in Jerusalem, which they are talking about building, and they are going to get around to it, make no mistake about it, because they have every intent of building it, and they have the plans, and they have everything in order. It's just a matter of time as to when they are going to build it. And then once they build it, the man going to leave Rome, and he going to set up in the temple, and that will be the abomination of desolation standing in the holy place. Read verse 21, because when that happens, this is what's going to happen. Go ahead and read verse 21.
For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be.
See what they say? And then will be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world, neither will it ever be again. And if the Lord didn't put an end to this time of trouble, then there would be no flesh left alive. Go ahead and read that next verse.
And except those days should be shortened.
You see what the Lord, you don't nobody want the Lord to come. Not really. You know, if he would come the way they want him to come, just pop up one day, and grab us all and take us off to heaven. That's cool. But, we got to go through all of this tribulation and all of that kind of stuff. No, I don't want him to come. But if he did not come, there would be no flesh left alive. I told you what direction man is heading in. Man is heading in the wrong direction. He is heading in the direction to destroy the entire earth. That is the direction that he is heading in. And the Lord is telling you right here, right now. He said those days were not shortened. There would be no flesh left alive. You know what no flesh is? No animal, no bees, no human, no nothing. Man will destroy everything. They done built these big bombs, and they argue over, whose bomb is the biggest. And you got like I read an article a few weeks ago where the United States said they have the right to use the nuclear first. They got the, wait a minute now. Now, if they said they got the right, well, then Russia said, well, I got the right too. Yes, and then you got another country over here, they got them a little nuclear weapon too. They said, I got the right too. So everybody said they got the right to use theirs first. And when they start using them, guess what will happen? There will be no flesh left alive. That is where the world is heading to. You better be glad this guy going to show up to do whatever he's going to do to bring peace, because if he don't show up, there will be nothing left. That is what the God of the creation said. Go ahead and read some more.
There should no flesh be saved.
Go ahead.
But for the elect's sakes, those days shall be shortened.
He said, because I got elect here, and he said, for their sake, I'm going to shorten them days. Thank God for the elect. Now, skip down to verse 29. Verse 29. Because, he told you just before the wrath of the Lamb, he said the moon wouldn't give her light, the stars wouldn't give her light, the sun wasn't going to shine, and all of that stuff. Skip down to verse 29. Go ahead and read.
Immediately after the tribulation of those days.
Now he said, at the end of the tribulation of those days, go ahead and read on.
Shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light.
Well, that's the same thing that he said in Revelation chapter 6, isn't it? Yes, he said the moon would be darkened and the sun wouldn't give her light. Go ahead and read.
And the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken.
Read.
And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn. And they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory.
So now we understand at what time you are going to have the wrath of the Lamb. What time are you going to have this wrath of the Lamb? Just before the coming of the Lamb. That is when it will start, and it will end at his coming. Go ahead now. Let's go over to Zephaniah chapter 1. And we'll begin reading at verse 15. Zephaniah chapter 1, and we'll pick it up at verse 14, rather. Zephaniah. Zephaniah is a little book near the end of the Old Testament. If you go to Zechariah and back up a couple of books, you will run right into it. Zephaniah chapter 1, and we'll begin reading at verse 14. Zephaniah 1 and verse 14. Okay, when you get it, go ahead and read.
The great day of the Lord is near. It is near, and hasteth greatly. Even the voice of the day of the Lord. The mighty man shall cry there bitterly.
See what it say? Even the mighty man gonna cry there bitterly. You know, because that's just what he said. He said, you know,
Sure.
when them heavens roll back like a scroll and everybody, and they cry for the mountains that fall on them and hide them from the face of him that sat upon the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb. Now it's telling you, he said, even the mighty man, he's going to cry there bitterly. You know, it's got to be some real wrath here. If the mighty man going to even cry bitterly. Go ahead and read on.
That day is a day of wrath.
That's what it is. It's the day of the wrath of the Lamb. Go ahead and read on.
A day of trouble and distress.
Read.
A day of wasteness and desolation. A day of darkness and gloominess. A day of clouds and thick darkness.
That is why it said, who's going to be able to stand? It is not a pretty time. Who you are or where you came from or how much you have, it ain't gonna matter one bit to him. He gonna just want to know one thing: those that serve me and those that didn't serve me. That's all he concerned with. Ain't concerned with nothing else. Go ahead and read on, bro.
But the whole land shall be devoured by the fire of his jealousy.
Go ahead.
For he shall make even a speedy riddance of all them that dwell in the land.
Now let's go to Isaiah chapter 2. And we'll begin reading at verse 10. You know, the Lord told you at the very first of this second chapter of Isaiah about the time when he's going to come and he's going to establish his government on this earth, and nation not going to learn war against nation anymore. In fact, let's just read a little bit about it so you can understand what time we are dealing with. Let's pick it up at verse 1 instead of starting at verse 10. Isaiah chapter 2, and we'll pick it up at verse 10. You know, I like to make certain that people understand what they are reading. You know, it is good to read, but it is better to understand what you read. Because the
shall be established in the top of the mountain, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it.
Now, this is the government that we are reading about, like we read about in Isaiah chapter 9, when it say, you know, that he's going to sit up on the throne of David and of his kingdom, and of peace there will be no end. You're reading about the same time right here. Go ahead and read some more, though.
And many people shall go and say, Come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the God of Jacob.
Now, this is after he has established this government on this earth.